The Genius Files, Mission Unstoppable, written by Dan Gutman. Welcome back, warrior friends. We're ready for chapter 13, which is titled The Second Cipher. Where were you kids? Dr. McDonald asked anxiously when the twins came rushing back to the RV in the parking lot. Your mother and I have been looking all over for you. Pepsi turned to her brother. Oh, we were playing Frisbee, he explained. Peps chucked it into the woods, and we had to go look for it. She totally can't throw. Well, you can't catch, his sister complained. I can too. Cannot. Dr. McDonald preferred to avoid arguments, especially the can to, cannot variety. He opened up his road atlas, and he flipped to the map of Nevada. Well, thank goodness you're safe, Mrs. McDonald told the twins, reaching into her purse. 5 more minutes and we were going to call the police. Here, I bought each of you a souvenir. Let me guess, Coke said. Yo-yos? How did you know? Mrs. McDonald asked. I'm a genius. Mrs. McDonald took 2 new yo-yos out of her purse, a red one for Coke and a blue one for Pepsi. Awesome, Coke said. Do you want to see me walk the dog? Maybe later, Mrs. McDonald replied. Let's blow this pop stand. Mom, Pepsi said, I wish you wouldn't buy this stuff. You're just wasting your hard-earned money. Yeah, money doesn't grow on trees, Mom, Coke said as he tried to duplicate the yo-yo trick he had seen in the video. But you've got to have some souvenirs, Mrs. McDonald told him. That's part of the fun of traveling. She passed around sandwiches that she had made while they were waiting for the twins. Dr. McDonald started the RV and he pulled out of the parking lot. After driving a little Honda for years, he wasn't used to such a big vehicle, and he backed out carefully. As he pulled out onto Route 70 south, he relaxed a little bit and he began to hum an old Willie Nelson song, On the Road Again. It wasn't long before they had merged back onto I-80 heading east. I was looking at the map, Dr. McDonald told the family after they had been on the road for a while, and Lake Tahoe is only about an hour from here. That might be a good place for us to stop for tonight, and maybe we can even stay for a day or two. We could go swimming and kayaking and have some fun, you know. Lake Tahoe is beautiful. No, Pepsi shouted. We want to go see the largest ball of twine in the world, shouted shouted Coke. Yeah, Pepsi added. Lakes are such a bore. Mrs. McDonald turned around from the front seat. Wait a minute, she said. Yesterday, everybody was making fun of me for wanting to go see the largest ball of twine in the world. And now you're all anxious to get there? What's going on? Yeah, Dr. McDonald said. Why are you suddenly so interested in that silly ball of twine? As usual, Pepsi looked to Coke for the answer. She wasn't about to tell her parents that there would be some sort of an attack at the ball of twine or that they had to be there to stop it. So Coke thought fast. Well, we're twins, he announced, and twine is twin with an E on the end. So we want to see it. That is ridiculous, Dr. McDonald sputtered. So instead of swimming and kayaking at a beautiful lake, you want to go see a ball of twine because it has an E in it? Yes, the twins both agreed. You wouldn't understand, Pepsi said. You're not a twin. Well, I'm pleased to see that you kids are getting into the spirit of the trip, Mrs. McDonald said. The twine ball is in Cocker City, Kansas. Well, then that is where we want to go, Coke declared. We hate swimming and kayaking. Since when? Their father asked. You used to love to go swimming and kayaking when you were little. Please, 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 begged Pepsi. Dr. McDonald could not resist a child with puppy dog eyes, especially his own. He sighed, and when the exit for Lake Tahoe appeared on the side of the road, he drove right past it. Mrs. McDonald passed her laptop back to the kids so they could see the route to Kansas. The McDonalds would have to drive along I-80 all the way across Nevada, through the top of Utah, across the southern part of Wyoming, and halfway across Nebraska before detouring south into Kansas. It says that Cawker City is 1,414 miles from here, Mrs. McDonald informed the family, and today is June 19th. It should take us a few days to get there, depending on how often we stop. Speaking of which, I'm beat, Dr. McDonald announced. Let's start looking for a campground. About 10 miles from the Nevada border, signs began to appear along the side of the road. Donner Lake, Donner Pass Road, Donner Memorial State Park, Donner Camp and Picnic Area. The Donner Party! Pepsi yelled excitedly, almost causing her dad to drive off the road. This is where they were! Ever since she was little, for reasons that nobody could explain, Pepsi had been fascinated by the Donner Party. Other girls became obsessed with soccer and dolls and scrapbooking or some sort of boy band, but Pepsi loved the Donner Party. She was probably the only child in America who knew the story. In 1846, George Donner and his brother Jacob, Illinois farmers, they had set out for the promise of California in covered wagons, with several families, including their own. They took a shortcut that turned out to be a longer route, hit bad weather, and then ran out of food and resorted to cannibalism. Yes, that means eating each other. Only a few of the members of the party survived. Some party, huh? Dr. McDonald spotted a sign for a campground in the town of Truckee, California, so he pulled off the highway. Maybe they have a Donner Party museum here, Pepsi said hopefully. A Donner Party museum? Coke said, snorting. Are you kidding? Nobody's going to want to see a museum about a bunch of cannibals. Why not? Pepsi asked. Somebody made a museum about a bunch of yo-yos, and somebody made a museum about Pez dispensers, so why not a museum devoted to the memory of the Donner Party? That is when they saw a sign at the side of the road. And here is their sign. Visit the Donner Party exhibit in the Immigrant Trail Museum. There was a museum. See, Pepsi hollered. They do have a Donner Party museum. Can we go there? Please, Dad? Please, please, please. Dr. McDonald pulled into the Donner Memorial State Park and found the museum parking lot. It is historical, I suppose, he said. I might be able to use this on my Amazing But True, Mrs. McDonald added. I can imagine the souvenirs they sell in their gift shop, Coke remarked. Do you think it has a meat department? The exhibit was actually pretty interesting. There was a 25-minute video about the Donner Party and the musket that one of the desperate pioneers had used to shoot an 800-pound grizzly bear. Outside was a memorial that showed how high the snow had gotten that tragic winter. 22 feet. I'm not entirely sure that this museum was appropriate for children, Mrs. McDonald said when the family piled back into the RV. But the Donner Party were heroes, Pepsi said. They did what they had to do to survive. Yeah, Mom, lighten up, Coke agreed. Cannibals are cool. It was educational, Dr. McDonald admitted. Because of what happened to the Donner Party, Californians had sent relief teams with water and food for the people who were heading west during the gold rush a couple years later. So in the long run, they had saved lots of lives. Well, after a few wrong turns, the McDonalds found a campground where they could spend the night. They had driven more than 200 miles, almost all the way across California. Mrs. McDonald baked some freeze-dried chicken in the RV's little microwave oven, and the family eagerly wolfed it down while sitting at a picnic table at their campsite. Do you want me to do a dump here, Dad? Coke asked, remembering it was his chore on the trip to empty the holding tank below the toilet. No, we can wait a few days for that, Dr. McDonald replied. let the tank fill up a little. It was a simple campground. Once the sun went down, there wasn't a whole lot to do. Without any wood to make a campfire, the McDonalds climbed into their sleeping nooks and they curled up with books, and one by one, they dropped off to sleep. Around 3 o'clock in the morning, a man wearing a black suit and a bowler hat tiptoed over to the RV. He had a piece of paper with him, about 3 inches by 7 inches, which he carefully slipped underneath the left windshield wiper, and then he crept away silently into the night. This is what it said on the piece of paper.